Thank you for joining Cancer Support Community Atlanta for this program. Please visit our website, cscatlanta.org, for a complete list of live and recorded events. We invite you to sign up for our newsletter to stay connected to all future programs.
We're learning. Good. Thank you, Lauren. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, awesome. What a great crowd we have here today. We are going to make a couple things. One, salmon cakes, salmon sliders. We're going to make sliders. That's more fun. So we're going to make some sliders. We are going to make a remoulade, fancy mayonnaise, if you will. And we are going to talk about all things black pepper. So the dietitians wanted us to talk about turmeric today, right? So, and also turmeric and black pepper and how they help each other. They work together in the body. They help the body absorb the turmeric, which is good for us, right? So to make this more fun, I thought, well, let's make a curry mayo. We'll call it mayo. It's remoulade, right? But let's make it from scratch using all the things that are found in curry powder, right? We have regular curry powder here. Sometimes when you buy curry powder, it may or may not, depending on the brand or quality, it may not have all the things that a good curry should have, right? So I know these are a lot of ingredients, like one person pointed out. There's a lot of spices, but just for fun, we're going to make it together, just so you can kind of see and taste what I think curry should taste like, right? But when you go to the store, if you want to buy curry powder, go for it. I won't blame you, okay? But I think it's always fun to explore new things and taste some new spices and things like that. The salmon cake's really fun. A lot of people put maybe eggs or a lot of breadcrumbs and things in their salmon cakes. I don't want to do that. We're going to make a really fresh. Anytime I make salmon cakes or crab cakes, I like it to taste like it is. Like if I'm eating crab cake, I want my crab cake to taste like a crab, right? Same with my salmon. I don't want all these other flavors and things in my salmon, such as breadcrumbs weighing it down. We are going to dredge it in a little bit of panko right before we fry it, just to help get it golden brown on top, and it holds it together just a little bit. But we're not going to mix it together and bind it with a lot of breadcrumbs, right? I make my crab cakes at home pretty much the same way. I do incorporate mayo into my crab cake. But the salmon, I'm going to show you, we're going to chop it up. It's almost going to look like ground beef, right? It's when you make a burger, if you think about it, you make hamburgers at home, you don't throw eggs in it or breadcrumbs. You just patty it up and make a hamburger. So that's what we're going to do with salmon. We're going to chop it all up and get it really fine, and you're going to see it binds together really well. We're going to pan fry it in the pan, maybe finish it in the oven if we need to, okay? The remoulade, I know, a lot of spices, but remoulade basically is capers, cornichons, Dijon mustard, mayo, right? And you can put anything, you can make any kind of remoulade, any kind of spices, whatever. We're just going to make a curry, right? And then we are going to talk about, I thought it'd be fun to bring in all these different peppercorns. Maybe folks have questions. I know we talk about olive oils all the time and all the different olive oils. Well, there's a lot of different peppers out there as well. And a lot of these smell amazing. This timber pepper it actually, when you taste one on your tongue gets numb. You might think you're allergic, but it gets numb. It's very citrusy. It smells great. Y'all want to pass these around, you can smell. I'm going to grind them all up. Timur, Timor pepper. So I have notes up here. It's grown in the Himalayas, citrusy, complex. It's a cousin of the Szechuan pepper. So these are actually dried berries. They're not actually peppercorns. So it's a lot of fun. They smell really, really neat. I'll grind some up for us to taste a little bit. Don't freak out if your tongue gets numb, because it will. It's a lot of fun. Szechuan pepper, maybe some of you are familiar with that. I have purple peppercorns. I have Zanzibar peppercorns. which are really great. So those are a lot of fun. What I think we'll do first is, why don't we make this remoulade real quick? Nope, we're going to make the salmon. Let's make the salmon first. Get that out of the way, okay? So we have a lot of people. I had to buy a lot of salmon. Sometimes when you go to the store, you can find these salmon. This one has skin on, right? This is a whole one. I've seen them in Publix and Kroger in the freezer section as well. You can buy sides, maybe sockeye salmon. This one I had to ask the seafood guy for a whole side because I had to buy about 8 pounds of salmon to feed all of us. I made some up ahead of time, so we're not here watching me chop 8 pounds of salmon. But this is a whole...
Why you needed that much salmon? The guy at the grocery store asked why you needed that much salmon?
No, but he looked confused. He's like, oh, really? You want that? I'm like, yeah. You sure? Yeah. So we didn't have a long conversation, but he did give me the side eye, yeah. Especially when they put the price on there. But so when you buy this whole salmon, we need to we're going to take the skin off, and I can show you guys how to do that. So we see the skin. You guys can see this on the screen, right? Yep, cool. Oh, a lot of you may had salmon cakes growing up or whatever, and salmon in a can, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to show you a fresh version because it'll be a little more juicy if you're making burgers. Now, salmon croquettes for breakfast, yeah, I'm gonna go and get the can one, right? And I'll open the can, I'll drain the juice. The bones, they've been cooked to smithereens. So usually I just take out the main big thick bone. But you're gonna have little bones in your canned salmon. I don't have a problem with that. Are they what? The bones? Yeah, I'm sure they are, yeah. And they're easy to eat because they fall right apart. Yeah, they've been just blasted to death, so they're fine. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. There's nothing wrong with canned salmon. I'm not hating on it. I love it for breakfast, but if I'm making salmon burgers, I want to get my fresh salmon. And if you go to the store and you want fresh salmon, you obviously are not going to buy this for your family, right? I'm cooking for a big family. But if you're cooking for 2, 3, 4 people, 6 people, just get yourself a little side of salmon, a little fillet, already with the skin off, and you don't have to worry about it, okay? Make sense? Okay. But if you do have a big party and you're making a lot of burgers, this is what you're going to do. We're going to take our knife, a very sharp knife. This is not a very sharp knife, but that's my fault. So I'm going to go down to the skin. Yeah, you can see that. So I make a little cut there's a little bit of meat left on the end there. And then I'm going to turn my knife gradually, right? Going along the bottom there. And then I'm pulling. See that? I'm pulling on that skin. And that's going to help me. And then I pull on up here. And my knife is gliding right along the cutting board as we go along. And I'm pulling and I'm slicing. Now, if I were home, I might want to use a fillet knife, which is a little longer. Okay? There's our salmon. You can do that too. It is not that hard. And then I just take my knife. Looks like a snake skin. Yeah, you can bake this on a so you can bake this, make chips out of it. Yeah, it'll stink up your house a little bit, but it's really tasty if you bake it and eat it. If I'm cooking salmon, I cook it with the skin on. My family won't eat the skin, so I get everybody's skin. It's a win-win for me. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You can see that. So what I was talking about, so if you're home, you probably have, maybe you buy that at the store, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut this into strips. I know. You just want to cook the whole salmon, don't you? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, we're not going to do that. So then we're just going to chop it up. There's a question about a knife too. So if you're holding your knife, your thumb goes here, your forefinger goes here, then you wrap your fingers around the bottom, right? That's how you hold a knife without cutting yourself, especially during it. So if you're holding like that, you have a chance to slip. You want to get a good grip on it, hold it like that, and then we're just going to chop through this salmon. Now this process takes a minute, right? So I just want to get this salmon chopped up really fine because I want it to look like ground beef. That's what I want. Because I want to be able to hold it together without so much binder. I don't want binder in my salmon burger. I want binder in my salmon cake. So if you're using canned salmon, you can't do it like this. It's going to fall apart. You're going to need that binder. But that's okay. Because salmon cakes, we want them to be a little more crispy anyway. Okay, we're getting there. Well, what I would figure out is average maybe 2.5 to 3 ounces per person if you're making sliders, right? Hamburgers, when you're making hamburgers, you're thinking, what, 5, 6, 7, 8 ounces, depending on, if I'm making hamburgers at my house and it's just me and my son, they're really big. Now, if there's 4 of us, then they get a little smaller. So I don't really, I'm not good about freezing stuff. All right, buddy, we're going to eat big burgers tonight, and that's usually how it works out. So you can see this is pretty small. I'm going to show you that in a second. Yeah, that's for the big parties. I have some already cut in here. The magic of television. Yeah. Okay, so here's the other deal. We have food processors too that can help us with some of this stuff, right? So food processor, we're going to chunk it up like that, little chunks. And then we're going to put it in there. Okay? Doesn't have to be any sort of size. I would try to get it like chunky like that, and then just run that. That's it. Gonna make you want to go out and buy a food processor, right? Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. Now, I do like a little texture in mine. You have to be careful with these food processors. If you overspin it, you're going to get a mousse, right? So sometimes fish mousse is good, sometimes it's not. For a burger, I really don't want that much mousse. So, if you're watching your cost, you can get some cheaper white fish and mix it with your salmon and blend it like that. Because sometimes salmon gets pricey. Tuna is good like that too, if you really want to go over the top. Tuna burger, I would recommend making, blending it a little finer. You really need to get it to hold together. But look at that, we knocked out that whole side of salmon pretty easy. And then, like I said, we're gonna change our cutting board. We don't have to. I need an assistant. You're right about that. That's true. There you go. All right. So recipe calls for parsley, green onions, lemon zest, olive oil. That's for sautéing. A little panko, salt, and pepper. So we're going to. Yeah, you sure can. Can you use cilantro? Yes. I bet somebody in here doesn't like cilantro. There you go. Yeah, some people have that aversion to cilantro. We've talked about that before. There's no getting around it. People have an aversion to it, and that's okay. So so we're going to zest microplane. Everybody familiar with the microplane? Yep. Okay, so we're going to take our lemon. Again, I didn't put on there, I'm going to juice this lemon into the salmon, and that's perfectly fine. If you want to write that in your notes, you can. If not, it's okay. Sometimes I forget things in the recipe. Sometimes I make stuff up. Where's Lauren? She left? Yeah. Now's my time. I'm usually last minute getting my recipes to her, so we're rushing. I always have good intentions. I'm going to get you the recipes early. It just doesn't work out that way. Something about having a job and makes it hard. So I'm going to zest that lemon zest or lemon juicer, all right? Just so we don't waste it. Makes life easy. And just for the record, I'm not a fan of having tons and tons of gadgets in my kitchen, especially ones that only do one job. But some things are good. Yeah, I mean you can zest a lot of things with that. So, as far as the green onion, I'm just going to slice that up like that, all the way down to the roots. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can see that. Any questions as we're moving along? Just holler them out. A little bit more. We're measuring everything, right? Yeah. Okay. And then salt and pepper. Put those in there. Parsley. Again, I bought flat leaf parsley. Curly parsley's fine. I don't chop the parsley up super fine. I like parsley. It's nice. Okay. And then we're going to add our pepper. The parsley?
No, the salmon.
The salmon, that was 4 pounds of salmon. Yeah, that was a lot. So we have a lot of people. I just want to make sure we have enough. Salt. I don't want to over salt, so I control that. Another thing I was thinking about you could do for a salt fat, if you don't want to use salt, you can use, I thought smoked salmon could be kind of nice. Mix smoked salmon mixed with the fresh salmon. So chop up the smoked salmon, add that to the raw salmon. That could be really nice. Just something to think about, okay? So that's it. Salt, pepper, lemon juice, lemon zest, parsley, green onion. We're just going to take our hands and we're going to mix that up. Okay. And then we're just going to throw that in the refrigerator right now. So when we go to make these, what I was talking about was, like that. Yeah. So that really binds together. You can see, it is pretty. It looks nice. So, and then what I'm going to do, we'll fry these in a minute. I'm just going to dredge it in the panko right into the skillet. So I want just a little breadcrumb on top just to help color it in. It'll look nice and give it a little crunchy texture on the top. Refrigerating it first helps a little bit too. Set up. Has some good fat in it. Okay.
Can you prepare all the steps the night before?
You sure can. Yeah, you can prepare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can prepare all that the night before. Okay. Okay, the remoulade. What I'm going to do is I am going to, let's mix all the spices together first, right? So we can work. Oh, cornichons. Yeah, yep. Yeah. Little pickles. Yeah. Yeah. Capers and grain mustard. So we have cornichons, which are just little baby pickles. Capers. That's gives you a nice briny flavor, pickly kind of flavor as well. The grain mustard, turmeric, cayenne, cumin, coriander, cardamom, ginger, cinnamon, and dry mustard. Hold up, guys. Yep. No, that's what I was saying earlier. So if you buy just regular curry powder, like this one, for example, if I can read it, has coriander, turmeric, mustard, cumin. This has fenugreek, paprika, cayenne, cardamom. This one has nutmeg, some cinnamon, and cloves, right? So there's so many different varieties of things, right? And some of them, I looked at the big bottle we buy at work, and it said assorted spices and turmeric. Right. So you don't know what you're getting, right? With this one, and then if you like things, what's cool about this, if you like cardamom like I do, put a little extra cardamom in there, right? Yeah. I use this instead of the curry. Yeah, we'll put the curry away. Yeah. So we're making our own curry powder, right? Yeah. Yeah. So the basic thing in curry powder is going to be the turmeric, right? So everything, I have recipes there for you. So don't judge me for measuring everything out. Coriander is next.
If I went to the Beaufort Highway Farmers Market, which country aisle would be the best to get the best combination of curry powder? Indian.
So yeah, yep. DeKalb Farmers Market, they have a beautiful spice selection. They're cheap too. So not cheap, they're very affordable, right? I like getting spices there. It's very, very nice.
You can tell they're good by the people that are buying them.
Yeah. Do they look like chef? Yeah.
No, they look like native to the
Yeah. I know what you mean. A lot of these are pretty much equal ratios. A few are a little less. But again, when you're making this spice, guys, you can adjust these ingredients however you like. You know, if you want it to be a little spicier, you know, feel free to add a little more cayenne pepper, okay? Or if you want, you know, more turmeric or more mustard, you can do that as well. Yeah, I think turmeric's pretty high in a curry powder, right? because that's giving you your color. I think turmeric's pretty cheap. Yeah. So they're going to use that. I mean, you know, they're. No, it depends on the brand. And also, when you're looking at spice labels, remember the first, yeah, it starts with the first. And, you know, if your first ingredient says water, it's water. Right? You know, this one actually says, this one says coriander first. I guess this was a.
Yeah, then I was thinking actually you don't put too much turmeric powder in
Mm-hmm.
food. If you put a little bit, the color comes.
Yeah. Okay. You can taste it if you want, but we're just going to mix that up. Then we're going to we'll add our mayo. And then we will add, what else are we adding? We're adding our capers, our cornichons, our parsley, and our mustard. You sure can. Yeah. Yeah. You can use pickle relish. So these aren't as sweet. The question was, are cornichons sweet? Yes, you can get the little ones that are very, very sweet, which are okay. These aren't as sweet. I didn't want something as sweet, so we. Duke's. Duke's better. I don't know. You know, it's the mayonnaise war. There's, you know, Hellman's, Duke's, Miracle Whip. Yeah, it's where are you at? Where are you from? And where are you from? You know, and my grandmother bought my grandmother bought Miracle Whip, so I knew if I was going there, I was eating my sandwiches with Miracle Whip. My parents bought Hellman's. I moved to the South and I discovered Duke's. Oh yes, yes. Duke's is really good. I was talking to my mom the other day. They're buying Duke's now too. So. Yeah, they do argue. Yeah, the cornichons, they're better than like a sweet relish, you know. You know, relish is going to be more sweet, so this gives you just a more tangy acidity. Yeah, these take a little time. You know, you can throw those in a food processor too. You can make this in a food processor if you wanted to. Dump all the ingredients in there and just spin it. We're just gonna, I just cut them in half and then chop them up. Leaving them chunky's fine. No one's gonna judge our knife cuts if we're making them a homemade. Question? Yeah. Yeah, I think, so the canned salmon, I was talking to some folks earlier about that. You know, canned salmon is great. I have nothing against canned salmon. What I would do with the canned salmon, I would drain the juice off, right? Maybe take out the big chunks of bones that are easy to pull out. The other bones I just leave in, throw it all in a bowl. And then I would add, I add mayo to mine. You can add egg yolks if you want. I add green onions, parsley's great. Lemon juice, lemon zest, great. Same things we have here, except you need more binder, right? Because the salmon's already cooked. There's nothing there that's going to. So more panko, mayo, egg yolk, sort of thing. I wouldn't be afraid to put a little mustard in there. When I think of salmon, I think of breakfast. The canned salmon, I like salmon croquettes for breakfast. So, but yeah, you're going to need some binder. So either egg yolks or mayo and more panko inside of the mixture. Rather than just on top, you want to mix it together to form a cake. And then when you form it, it'll hold together. You can fry it or saute it or bake it or do whatever you want to do with it at that point. Oh, yeah, and your binder might be off a little bit. You may need a little more. Binder in there, because you should be able to make them right away and fry them. But yeah, yep. Okay, and then our mustard, last but not least. Okay, and then I think we had lemon. Yeah, lemon juice. I use the dry mustard, and then I use the grain mustard as well. A little bit, but it's not terribly spicy. There we go. Then I just whip it up. It looks nice. Thank you. Then we can refrigerate that. Then what we can do is that when our burgers are done, we can either put that on the bun, or we can serve it on the side if we like, okay? All right. So we've made that. We are going to, let's go ahead and do this. I want to put these in the oven. So let's talk about these peppercorns real quick. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we were talking about peppercorns. I'm going to grind up. So the first one I like to use is the Zanzibar. So this one, I have some notes here for you guys. So the Zanzibar, this is, I get the fancier spices from a company called Burlap and Barrel, right? If I'm looking for really good spice, like a fancy black pepper to use for something, I go to Burlap and Barrel. And Kip will tell you the same thing. We get different. It's online. Yep, online. They ship. I don't remember where they're located, but what they do, they source these really unique spices and things from around the world, from places that don't, abuse children to harvest vanilla beans or Burlap and Barrel. It's really, they have some really cool things. They're not cheap, but if you buy a fancy black pepper, you're not going to use it to cook every single thing, right? Maybe you just want it for something special, or finish your steak with after it comes out the oven, a couple grinds of that fancy black pepper, and it really tastes good. Yes? Do they last forever? As far as I know. Now, spices will deteriorate as far as quality and strength and pungency and things like that, smells, and if you've been with this, we've been here for a while together, a lot of us, I talk about spices, and a lot of times we'll toast the spices first, right? Especially if we're going in our pantry and we haven't used our curry powder in 4 years. It's probably flat, right? So what we might want to do is lay it out, throw it in the oven for 10 minutes on a dry sheet pan, no oil, anything. Just it helps bring it back to life, right?
So could you do that with the peppercorns?
You can, yeah. Burlap and Barrel, so like they're going to ship it to you like that, right? Just in a little thing like that. There is a grinder on that. Yeah, some come with grinders, and some come just as in a container. So they sell it different ways. I like the grinder for some things like whole cardamom or whole coriander. You get the grinder, right? Then you don't have to worry about using up one of your little grinder things or dirtying that up. It just stays in there. It's fresh. It's packed. It's sealed. It's good to go. Just grind it when you need it, right? That's kind of neat. I don't buy all my spices from there, but I do buy certain things that I really cumin seeds. Oh, delicious. They have the best, right? And they give a little story behind it too, so you can read about where it came from, how they harvested. You can just learn some things about things, right? About spices, which I think is pretty cool. These Zanzibar black peppercorns, I do use these as my everyday peppercorn. They're not terribly expensive. This says it's an award-winning vine-ripened Zanzibar black peppercorn, hand-picked and sun-dried for a bright, lemony, spicy peppercorn that's unlike anything on the planet. These are rich, chocolate-colored peppercorns with dense wrinkles and bright, fruity spiciness. So these are grown among coconut, cinnamon, and clove trees, sandy soil. Yeah, just really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and throw those in here for you guys, and we can grind them up. Yes, this is a very fancy spice grinder. What I can do is pass out a little bit. You guys, I can dump a little bit on each table if you guys just want to smell them and check them out. They're pretty fun. We can nerd out on black peppercorns here for a minute. Yeah. That's a Zanzibar. Nope, that's not the one. This is your everyday peppercorn. It's really nice. Yeah. So this is something you would use for everything in your house.
So Rita, is that your phone?
Do you buy most of your spices with them, or?
No, just a few. I don't buy a lot. Zanzibar, yeah. So this is the one we were talking about. That's an everyday spice. I'm sorry? That's the Zanzibar. That's your, everyday black peppercorn. Uh-oh. Good. Okay. Good question. I don't know. You have to look it up for me. Okay, so then we have the Timur peppers, Timur. Right, that's the ones we smelled earlier. You guys ready? Yeah? Okay. These will make your tongue numb. Yeah. This smells so good. Smells almost very citrusy. Yeah. You can smell it, yeah. These are the Timur peppers. They smell so good, yeah. You can smell that.
Right, this was Zanzibar, right?
Zanzibar, yeah.
I've never eaten with pepper.
You never eat with pepper? Now you're going to try it. Try that. Smell that. Okay. All right, the last one we'll try, I'll bring around the Szechuan pepper. It's spicy, yeah. So the one you just had remember, it's not actually a pepper, it's a berry. And so is the Szechuan, right? Timmer. Yeah, it's a berry. It's a process. You know how they dry. A lot of them are air dried. Some of them are fermented. This is the Szechuan. Again, sometimes this will make your. This is a Szechuan. I'm sure a lot of us have had Szechuan with our Chinese food.
How do you spell Timur?
Timur.
We're trying to put it in the same plate for you.
You're welcome. Check it out. This is a Szechuan. So if you've had Chinese food, maybe you've tried that one. You can sprinkle some of these on your burger when we eat it. That'll be fun. Okay. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea of some different peppers that you can try. And how about we cook some salmon burgers? Yeah? Okay. All right. Yeah, we have a question? The turmeric needs black pepper, yeah. For the body to use all the things that turmeric can provide, which I don't know off the top of my head, but yeah, if you're going to mix them together, they work together very well. Okay. Okay, so medium high heat for your salmon burgers. Yeah. We are recording. Olive oil in my pan. Yep, so olive oil in my pan, medium heat. We'll play around with it. These are, you know how I play around with the stove up here. So those are working. So we're going to make our patty. All right. We're going to make sure it's. Yeah. So then I throw it in there. Right? Just that much. Yeah, that's it. Nothing too, we don't want too much in there. Biggest thing is just to make sure, you give them a nice little patty back and forth. That's how I make my hamburgers too. If I'm at home using ground beef, I'm doing one of these deals, making sure it's, really gets it together. Just dust it with a little breadcrumb. Those will work well. Any questions while these are cooking? Go ahead. We have a question. Enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Yep. So you can use pan spray too. The only issue you're going to have is the breadcrumbs are going to want to absorb some of that oil. In order to get them brown, you need a liberal amount of oil in the pan, okay? I don't know. Who asked about air fryer? Yeah. You ever try one in an air fryer? Well, that's your homework. Report back next time. Let us know. Yeah. Let us know. Who has air fryers? You guys use them? Yeah. That's cool. Just not me. What was that? Did it give any explanation?
Yeah, on the bottom of the box, the first one it just said this product has cancer causing agents which is called cancer. And then the next one it said carcinogenic
Are they coated with Teflon or anything like that?
You know, it does smell funny sometimes when you cook it things in there. It does give off that chemical smell.
So that's that California process.
Yeah.
That's not almost, that's what I use to everything.
Okay. We're cooking. Any questions? They should get nice and brown, right? You can finish them in the oven if you want. You can throw if you have a skillet like that, turn them over, brown them on both sides, finish it in the oven. Eat them medium rare if you want. A temperature. I think I put a temperature thing on there for you guys. 135 would be like a medium rare, I think. 120, thank you. So, well done, you're like 160, 155 probably for salmon. If you let them rest for a little bit too, like they come out of the oven, when they talk about resting things, so even if you're making homemade hamburger, we keep referring back to hamburgers, right? So if you're making hamburgers and you're cooking them, right? I don't know how you guys cook them, but whatever you're doing, skillet, oven, whatever, before you throw them on a bun, you should let them sit for like 5-10 minutes. Just let them hang out, do nothing, right? Everything's going to settle. That way you don't get, you ever go to a restaurant and you got a bun that's soggy, wet, nasty. That's because they didn't let them rest long enough. And nobody wants to eat their bun that's falling apart with blood in it or whatever, right? But you can prevent that by letting your hamburger just hang out and rest before putting it on the bun. What I like to do is just let it rest, right, room temperature, and then I'll put the cheese on after it's rested, and then just throw it back in the oven just to melt the cheese. And then you're surely not going to get a bun that's soggy. There we go. Those are nice. Yeah, I made some ahead. I feel bad if you guys are sitting here just watching me do the same job over and over and over again. So we typically work ahead a little bit. Yeah, that's looking nice. See? Nice and brown. It's about what you want. This one's a little slower for some reason. Could be the skillet. So cast iron versus this guy here. So this one I brought from home. This is a skillet I use almost for everything. Cast irons are great because they get hot and they stay hot, right? They stay nice and hot. They control the temperature really well. You don't have to worry about getting, cold on you if you pull it off, or, it just holds a good steady temperature. I like cast iron a lot, and I use them a lot. This is a Lodge. There's so many different kind out there right now. Anyway, any questions on cookware, knives? I used olive oil. Yep. Just an everyday olive oil. Remember, you don't want to use your expensive olive oil to saute with, right? We've talked about that. We have nice finishing oils that we buy. We don't want to pour that in here and waste it on our salmon burger. So just a good everyday oil. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So when you clean a cast iron skillet, what's my process? I saw my wife one day. She was cleaning up the kitchen, and she's over there with the soap and right. I typically don't use soap on it. I will, when I'm done with this, I'm going to rinse it under water. I'll scrub it with a little scrub pad. If it has a little soap on it, that's fine. And then a paper towel just to dry it. That's my go-to. Use the what? No. They do have, I don't know if we had any here. Barkeeper's friend. Yeah, some people use that. I use that on my enamel. It's fine. But this cast iron skillet too is pretty old, so it's very well seasoned. Nothing sticks to it. It's great. It just takes time with skillets. You know, you buy them brand new, everything sticks to them. So you have to cure them. And if you go on Lodge's website, Lodge is a company that makes cast iron for forever. They have step by step on how to cure a cast iron skillet. You know, basically put some salt in it, throw it in your oven. It's a good wintertime project when your house is cold. So you don't want to do it in the summertime when it's 95 degrees outside because you're running your oven. But it's a good wintertime thing, and sometimes I'll do that with some of my skillets at home. We'll just go ahead and turn on the oven. Okay. I know. We're wrapping up. And I'm going to throw these in the oven just for a minute, and then the other ones are ready to go. I will. I saved some mix, yep. You're welcome. Yeah, I made these ahead of time, so I did throw them in the oven. And there's nothing wrong with. I'm just going to finish them in the oven. You can finish them on the stove. I'm just cooking for a lot of people, so it's easier just to. Okay. I'm going to make. Is anybody else gluten-free? Oh, yeah. 2? Okay. Good. Okay. You have a helper? You and you? Okay. Maybe we'll just put a dollop of curry mayo on the side. I don't know, unless everybody.
Yeah, why don't you make one and I can turn that off?
Okay, cool. Yeah, so when I make these, I am going to reverse my camera. There we go. Thank you, Lauren. I'm going to put a little mayo on there. Rémoulade, right? A little salmon cake. And I have arugula here, if anybody likes arugula. And there it is. That looks pretty good. I would eat that. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining Cancer Support Community Atlanta for this program. If you're interested in other live or recorded programs, please visit the online program tab of our website, cscatlanta.org. Or follow us on Facebook. We'll be sharing additional information on upcoming programs.